going on, guys? It's me, shemarlebreton, back with another video today. Now this video has been requested by many of you. As you guys know, I started this new YouTube channel, and I asked you guys what videos would you like me to do so that you guys can learn something new in terms of being a creator. And the number one thing I got most is like how to make a YouTube channel, or more specifically how to make a YouTube video. What are the steps, what are the plans that not necessarily I go through, but just in general, like how do you make a successful YouTube video. Now, as you guys may know, even though this is a new channel, I have been on YouTube for a while, and yes, there's been times where I made some successful YouTube videos. And so I want to teach you guys the 5 steps that I've learned throughout the years of being on YouTube, and how to make it as cinematic and as creative as possible. But before we start, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment. We're trying to build, so the more the merrier. And also don't worry about the background and the screening and stuff. As you guys will see soon, I'm trying to build like a new my studio desk setup, so that be very different from We Want More. So you'll see a different setup on We Want More than you'll see on this channel. But yeah, let's jump straight to it. All right, so the first thing that I always start with is a planner. So for example, I don't know if it's gonna be in focus because my lighting, but as you guys can see, it's obviously I have like a brand new YouTube channel. It has the date on top, and then it has like the first 4. There's another page too, but I'm not gonna flip it. But it has essentially like a breakdown of what I'm about to say, what points I want to touch on, and obviously before pressing record, I reread it, make sure to organize, make sure everything is straight, concise, everything that I want to say is in that point. I recently got into this because the first couple years when I was doing YouTube, it was more skit based, and it just came off my head. And so a lot of times it just became natural to not use a planner and just press record and kind of just go with the flow. However, I realized that the deeper I got into YouTube and watching other creators, the more it was essential to write down what exactly you're about to do. Oftentimes I realized that during complicated videos, there were times where I would stop recording, or I would not know what to say because I didn't necessarily write down everything I want to. And even oftentimes after I finished recording, I realized that I forgot to say something, and I would have to like put it in edit, which is not the best move because you want to make sure you say everything that you want before going into post-production. So I do advise grabbing a small book. I forgot where I got this book. I think I got it in high school or something, and I never used it, but now I use it. And for this channel, I've already written down like at least 5 to 6 videos that I'm going to do. So I suggest getting a planner just to know exactly what you're about to do. Like, what's the steps that you want to lay out? That way, when you press record, you're not wasting so much time trying to figure out what you're about to say. Rather, you already know what you want to say. All right, guys. So the second step to the process is actually setting up your scene. So after you've written down your script, you already know what you want to talk about. You know how this video is going to help or entertain somebody. You want to set up your lighting. Lighting is the biggest thing in your video. It makes or breaks everything. I know a lot of people say audio or even the latest camera gear, but I promise you, even the greatest, most expensive camera will look like crap without good lighting. Now, a good way to set up your lighting is always to have it above you and have it at a 45-degree angle. That way the light is shining down, almost like when you think about going outside and you see how the sun is not right here, but it's more above your head, so that you get a nice glow. You notice how you always get a nice glow when the sun is facing you and it's above and not directly in front of your face. Also, make sure when you're setting up that your audio is also the most important thing. So just like lighting, you also need great audio. I remember in the beginning I was using a Rode mic, shotgun mic that was on my camera, but my camera was so far away that it didn't pick up my voice good enough. With the help of a sponsorship I got a long time ago by 5 Fine Microphones, they offered me a great microphone, which is what you're hearing today. So make sure that the mic is also close enough to where it can pick up your voice, especially if you're a low talker like myself. And also make sure that you got a perfect camera angle. Camera angles also make or break videos too. And also make sure to have more than one angle. Obviously B-roll is going to take king in terms of having another visual to your video, but you also want to do multiple camera angles just so you could spice up your video a little bit. So make sure that when you're using your camera, you can either do the angle that I'm using now, which is kind of pointing down but facing up towards me, or you can do a straight shot where it's pointing face forward, or you can even do like your lighting where you have the tripod with the camera above your head and pointing down. This gives a different feel to your video. It gives a more cinematic look. So try these different angles, play around with the camera movement, play around with the lighting, audio as well, and trust me, in no time you'll get it. The first couple of times is going to be hard, but once you get it, you'll be fine. So after you set up all your lights and you organize everything, now all you need to do is press record. Now, depending on your setup, like for example, mine's, if you just saw in the last point, I have 2 light sources. So we have one here and one there. And this is only for one section. I usually do multiple angles. So this would be like the first angle. When you're ready to press record, make sure you reread your script. So point A is very important because once you get to point C, there is no stopping. I mean, you can, for the most part, you can stop. But I'm saying, you know, for the sake of not wasting time and trying to get the most videos out as possible, you want to reread your script before you press record, because once you press record, it's straight on. Now, of course, you know, in the next point, which is post-production, you can actually cut out the things that you said but you didn't feel like it was the right point, or you may have repeated something 2 or 3 times and you want to cut it out. That's fine and dandy, but in terms of recording, especially for memory card storage, you want to make sure you get out as clear and concise as possible. Also, for people that, you know, are, you know, starting to get into the filmmaking world, there's a thing called B-roll. B-roll is very short, very concise as well, but it's not the talking phase. So what you see right now is me talking to you, which is A-roll. This is considered, you know, when a character is talking or when you see dialogue happening. B-roll is more of the cinematic, when you see like objects and you see things moving, or it's anything that doesn't involve a human. Okay, so when you see objects moving, like you saw in the last part where I showed my setup, that's considered B-roll. To make videos more cinematic, especially on YouTube, you want to use B-roll as well, mainly because you don't want the A-roll to be the only thing you're showing. It gets kind of boring. People don't want to see your face for 15-20 minutes just talking straight, unless you're, you know, like a great comedian or something, and people could just watch you talk. But even then, you notice in a lot of Netflix shows, a lot of TV shows, movies, anything, documentaries, you see a lot of B-roll. That's because nobody wants to sit and watch 45 minutes of just talking. It doesn't work. You want to shoot B-roll, you want to get clear, concise things that make sense towards the video. So let's say for example, on this video talking about YouTube, you guys saw the B-roll where I showed the planner, I showed camera equipment, I showed lighting, I showed things of that nature. You want to show things that make sense for the video. Also, when pressing record, make sure your settings on your camera is great. The 4 things I would recommend is checking your ISO, your f-stop, your picture style, and your autofocus. Those 4 things make a huge difference in your video. Obviously for autofocus, you know, if you're not in focus, it looks blurry. But f-stop, ISO, and picture style is something I'm going to get into in another video called, you know, camera settings to make the best video possible. So look out for that video. But essentially, to break it down really fast, your ISO is how bright the in-camera lighting works. The higher it goes, the worse it gets. You don't want to use that for real. F-stop is how wide your lens opens up. So if it's, you know, a lower number like a 1.8, 1.4, it's very wide to let a lot of light in. The higher the number is, the smaller the sensor gets. So let's say for a f8 or something, the sensor or the lens is going to be like really tight and not a lot of light can get in. And picture style is usually, you'll see on your camera, is going to say like auto, portrait, monochrome. That's usually how the picture looks. I shoot an S-Log, which is like a neutral, you know, like bland color, so that when I'm color grading or color correcting in post-production, you guys see like bigger, you know, colors and it'll look better. All right, so after you have finished recording, you have everything set in place and you are ready to edit, it's time to jump in to the laptop. So whatever program you use for editing, whether that be Premiere Pro, Final Cut, even iMovie, you want to jump in, you want to import all your files. I'm going to show you guys exactly what to do come post-production, just showing you a little bit of the basics, and then, you know, we'll move on to the last step. All right, so once you see Premiere Pro, I'm just going to import, you know, like old footage that I have just to like show you guys an example. So I have my SD card in. We're going to go through, we're going to find something. Let's see, what's this? Okay, I'll use this then. Once you import your clip, you're going to see it on the bottom left. You're just going to drag it on to your timeline, which is also known as a sequence. Once you do that, you'll see it on the top right, that you'll see like a visual of like what your footage looks like. For the sake of like color grading and all that, I'm going to do that in a later video, but just to show you the basics. Now you see at the top is your visual, and the bottom with all the little scrubby lines is your audio. Rule of thumb for YouTube, when you're scrolling through and you're looking at your audio, so you see this little green bar towards the right hand side, you never want it to hit red. Okay, when it hits red, that means it's way too loud. So somebody that's watching it through their speakers or even on headphones, it's gonna blast through their headphones even at low volume. Always make sure before you even start editing just to scroll through and make sure that your audio is like at normal level. To change that, just in case your audio is like way too high, you want to go down to this left hand side. I usually turn off the stopwatch because I don't want no keyframes, but you can turn down the decibels. Negative means it's going down, positive means it's going up. So to turn it down, I'm gonna put it at, let's say, -6. Now there's more advanced ways to fix your audio. I'm not gonna go through that right now because that's for a later video going more in depth of Premiere Pro and editing in general. But for the sake of this video and time, I'm just gonna show you like the basic cuts. So on Premiere Pro, you press the letter C on your keyboard and you scroll through whatever parts you don't want, or parts that just like bloopers or something, or outtakes. You want to just cut through, press V, click it again, press delete. Now you just take the remaining piece, slide it through, and poof, it makes a cut. Okay, now to add titles, it's pretty simple. You're gonna go down to this bar, press the T, click on the video itself, and type away. So let's say I'm gonna write YouTube tutorial. Now to change the font, you're gonna see as you type text, there's gonna be something on the left hand side that says text. So you're gonna press this little arrow on the bottom. Now where it says source text, you can change the font, you can change how big it is. And a good note to download fonts, or to find good fonts, I recommend thefont.com, which I'm gonna write down here, or go on 1001fonts.com. Has a whole bunch of different fonts that you can use for your videos. They're all relatively free with the exception of some. So this little bar changes how big or how small it gets. You can align it. You can space the letters out itself using this VA arrow thing. If you have 2 lines of words, you can use the double A to space it out. There's a whole bunch of things. And to change the color, you can go down to where it says appearance, press the little box. Has a whole color wheel for you, so you can make it blue, you can make it red, you can make it green, any sort of color that you want. And the final step is uploading and promoting. Now I'm not going to show you guys how to upload because it's self-explanatory on YouTube, but essentially the most important thing about uploading on YouTube is making sure your thumbnail is as interesting as possible. If your thumbnail is boring, chances are you're not going to get clicks. So obviously all the hard work that you put in, you want to make sure that people are clicking, and the first thing that they see outside of your title is your thumbnail. Essentially, you want to invest in a place where you can make thumbnails as interesting as possible. So I would recommend that for sure. Another key factor in uploading and promoting to make sure you get the most views possible is tags. A lot of people don't use tags. A lot of people skip this step mainly because it's too much work, or it doesn't seem like a big issue or a big thing for YouTube. However, YouTube has a very precise and very weird algorithm, and a big key factor to getting your video to push into the top branches or the top searches is tags. YouTube needs to know what kind of video this is, what kind of audience is trying to push towards to. And so with tags, it helps YouTube understand what kind of video this is, where this video is supposed to be, what search is going to bring this video to the top. And so make sure to use tags. I use this app called TubeBuddy. It has a keyword explorer to where it ranks what keyword I'm trying to rank for, whether it's a good tag to rank for if a lot of people are searching for it, or a bad one where people are not searching for it and it's not going to rank high enough because there's too many people using that keyword. So I would recommend getting TubeBuddy. They have a free version and they have a pro version, which you have to pay for. I'm using the free version currently because my keyword explorer still works, and that's mainly all I use it for. So I would recommend getting TubeBuddy. And lastly, promoting on social media. If you have Instagram, you have TikTok, you have Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, you want to promote on all of these channels. No matter how many followers you have on any platform, you always want to promote on social media because you never know that one person could watch it and share it to a lot of other people, and then boom, that's how you grow. It's not just on YouTube where you put keywords and tags and then you feel like you're done. No, you want to promote as much as possible on Instagram stories, Instagram reels, TikTok, TikTok live. You want to go out to friends and tell them, yo, watch this. You want to share your link to as many friends as possible. Make sure to share your work every single where. That way you get the most views locally, and then who knows, it could push even further. Remember to make your thumbnails interesting as possible. Remember to use keywords, and remember to promote on social media as much as possible. But guys, that is it for me. I know this was a very long video, but you know, if you take these 5 steps in, I promise you, you'll get the most out of your YouTube videos. Keep in mind, this video is not intended to guarantee you views or guarantee you subscribers the moment you start following these steps. It takes time, but I promise you, if you use these steps wisely in every single video, something will pop and you're gonna come back to the video and be like, yo, Shamar, you did your thing. I know I did. But that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, make sure to comment, and make sure to subscribe, man. It helps tremendously on this channel. Bye, guys.